When it comes to golf club marketing, we hear terms like groundbreaking, game-changing and trailblazing, often enough that you start to think they might be true. But quite often the reality is a little different. And some of the firsts may just surprise you. And it's some of these firsts that we're going to celebrate in today's GolfBarons Reboot. So when we mention metalwoods, people's first thought goes to the driver they last hit. But if I mention first metalwoods, most minds, including mine, went back to this. Gary Adams, TaylorMade, 1979. Or at least it did until a few months ago. When I discovered this, care of Ross Baker at Golf, made from pot metal at about 1895. They used to melt metal down into a mould and shape it into the shape of a relatively modern driver head. The material was a little brittle, particularly for the gutty balls of the time, but you get a sense of where they were heading. Now that is a first. Hybrids. They're in everyone's golf bag, from the elite of the tour players down to the most basic of beginners. And again, to most people, the assumption is that hybrids are a relatively new phenomenon. Well, not quite. See, around 1890, the first metal-headed hybrid existed. Again, like the driver, made of melted pot metal, little number 2, but again with the loft and shape distinctly modern. And even prior to that, they were doing them with persimmon, with the ram's horn and the brass sole plate. And you'll never guess what the marketing campaign was. Easy to hit than irons. The Walter Hagen sandwich was in fact designed and patented by Edwin McLean in 1928 and used by Bobby Jones to win the Open in 1930 at Hoylake. The club had a concave face, much like a soup ladle, designed to scoop the ball up and out. It must have been effective, as the design of the club was outlawed soon after. Lucky, as it was cause of many a double hit. Gene Sarazen took the design and, inspired by an airplane wing, added bounce to it, flattened the face off in line with USGA regulations, and the rest is history. Now, we couldn't really talk about first and not talk about the putter that made the company, the 1A by Ping. Designed by Carsten Solheim, he hollowed out the middle to give it perimeter weighting for great distance control, and the straight lines help with alignment. As for where they got the company name from, I still haven't worked that out. Breakthroughs, game changers, leaps. Whilst many lay claim to performance developments, first suggest that. First. And each one more than worthy of having their story rebooted.